Hello, this is Miss Andrea, and this school year has been a complete and utter failure. So let's just start out with a giant elephant in the room. We have been in the midst of a worldwide virus for a solid year and change at this point. Everyone powered through the end of last school year, which was 2019-2020 school year. They did the best that they could, and the teachers pretty much weren't allowed to fail any children who weren't failing when they were sent home to do online school. So those children were passed, but did they learn much? Well, we're coming to the end of another school year, and no, they haven't learned much. So more students than ever got Fs in the first term of 2020-2021 school year, but are A to F grades fair in a pandemic. If they inform you how the student is doing, I don't know if they're fair, but they're informative, right? So clearly this video is for traditionally schooled children, but it also applies to homeschoolers in some areas because there are homeschool academies and hybrid programs. And even you've noticed if you're teaching your kid at home that they're pushing back and they're just not thriving in this locked down environment. So students' grades for the first period of 2020-21 academic school year are being recorded, and we are seeing stories from across the country about an unprecedented rise in Fs. And this was written last December, and it is now April. And the question they ask is anyone surprised? Millions of kids are living through the most disruptive school year of their lives because of the virus pandemic. They are forced to learn at home, online, or wear masks in classrooms without the benefit of their usual social, sports, or artistic outlets. Anxiety among students is exploding. So true, as is depression and loneliness and trauma. So, Article 1. This is a Washington Post. If you want to go ahead and read that. Another article from Inside Higher Ed, written a month ago. Failing grades. And this is written for children on the other end. The last one is for younger kids. This one is for high school and graduating students. One apparently widely ignored consequence of over a year of disrupted learning is a significant drop in grade point averages among a large number of high school juniors and seniors. In my conversations with affected students and in some surveys of academic progress in the spring and fall of 2020, it is clear that the drop-off is affecting the very students that selective colleges particularly have been trying to recruit: disadvantaged students, minorities, first-generation college students, rural students. 3 questions immediately present themselves. What do the low grades actually mean for college admissions? Who is telling high school seniors what the new rules are? And what's the perception of students themselves about college? Here's the thing. If you get accepted to college in the fall, say November, your acceptance is contingent upon you not failing much last semester of high school. So, I mean, colleges are either forced to adjust the rules, or they're going to be telling students, never mind. College responses to grade issues. Some colleges have issued reassuring announcements about accounting for grades affected by COVID-19. For example, the state of Washington's Council of Presidents said that Washington's public four-year college and universities are integrating flexibility into admissions processes to ease, to the extent possible, the disruption for fall 2021 applicants. This is good news. We recognize that while students must satisfy high school graduation requirements and meet minimum college admission requirements for freshmen, our institutions will not disadvantage fall 2021 applicants due to the pandemic's effects on education delivery. In other words, we understand distinct learning may have messed up your GPA and will take that into account. Similarly speaking, for its highly selective brethren, Yale announced that we also recognize that many students' personal circumstances may make it difficult to achieve their typical academic level during this time. For example, these lower income students who may not have the Wi-Fi at home. I have the highest Wi-Fi possible in my house. 4 of us do work from home. But these students may not have good Wi-Fi. I have several students that drop repeatedly during class time when I do my Zoom classes. They may not have a computer to themselves to do their work on, so they may have a limited time to study. There's just a lot going on. So that is inside higher ed. It's called Failing Grades. And finally, report nearly 23% of public school students are at risk for academic failure for 2020-21. This is Raleigh, North Carolina. NSJ Online, North State Journal. A report says that nearly 23% of public school students and just over 9% of public charter school students are at risk for academic failure this school year is headed down to lawmakers. So a report that's giving these failure statistics is being headed to lawmakers. And what are the lawmakers going to do? The report was presented by State Superintendent Catherine Truitt at a Senate Education Higher Committee hearing. The news comes on the heels of failed veto override of Senate Bill 37, which seeks to return K-12 students to a 5-day week in-person instruction. The 5-page report includes several notes prior to the presentation of the data. One note cautions against extrapolating from the data. So we've presented a problem, and we don't present problems without presenting solutions. So if this is you and your children or child has had a horrible year, what do you do to make sure that they're going to be okay next year? My answer is summer school at home. Use homeschool methods to bring your kids, your traditionally schooled kids, up to par. And even if you homeschool, these are great summer activities for your kids. This is my favorite. Summer bridge activities. What summer bridge activities is literally a bridge between 2 grades, and it reviews what they learned in the year that they just finished, and it starts introducing information for the next year. Pre-K through a rising 8th grader. 7 to 8 means they're in between grades 7 and grades 8. You have series of workbooks, and then you just have one workbook. You can look inside these workbooks. I think if you go to Amazon.com, all kinds of grade levels, flashcards, foreign language, etc. And these workbooks are usually 1 to 2 pages a day. And it really is all they need sometimes to reinforce what they just finished learning and to just get them a little bit ahead of the next school year. So if your child is moderately behind or just struggled with some things, then you want to make sure that they don't have more brain drain during the summer. And that's literally what these books are about, to prevent brain drain. And you just want them to maybe have a little head start for next year. This is the workbook that you purchase. This is a workbook series that I highly recommend, and I recommended earlier in the year to homeschoolers. 180 Days of Reading, grade 1. It comes in all the subjects, math, reading, writing. It comes in sciences, etc. Pick the subject or two that your child is struggling in and use these. And instead of doing 1 page a day, because for homeschoolers, 180 days is a school year, but we're doing summer school now, you can do 3 pages a day and you'll finish this book by the end of the school year. And now you've, I wouldn't say retaught, but you've reinforced what your child has learned during the school year. So whatever subject they are struggling in, just go ahead and choose the subject for from this workbook. And whether it's reading, spelling, writing, math, I think there's science also. Yeah. Just go ahead and get this 180 pages a day and put it on a little bit of a fast forward. You don't need to do every subject, just the ones that you know they struggled in, so that they can get up to par with the other students. Y'all know this is my favorite. I can't even lie. But Khan Academy is great during the summer. And here's the reason why I'm recommending review type things. They've seen this information before. It was probably just presented too quickly for them or in a format that didn't work for them. So by just reviewing with the workbooks or with Khan Academy, you know, you just pick the subject that they just finished and you have them do it again. And you can start the year by doing a course challenge. It's a course challenge. So you can start the year by doing a course challenge, and then that will help the software, the Khan Academy software, tell you exactly what things the children need to do. Ignore my stats. I use my Khan Academy to teach other children from, so I'm in and out, and I've never done anything straight. I've just used it to teach from it. So I have really weird stats in there. So that's a favorite of mine. The ones I've shown you so far are great for kids kindergarten through roughly 8th grade. And now we're going to take it up to the high school level, which Khan Academy is also great for. I helped my nephew had failed geometry, and they put him in summer school, but summer school was literally 1 day a week for 4 weeks, and a test at the end of that. So it was like a review on speed. So I put him through Khan Academy, and that helped a lot. And then he was able to pass the test. So Khan Academy is great, especially if you're taking summer school. Summer school is just, it can be so disjointed that you need a little extra to help you. So this is a good addendum to a summer school class that you're taking, you know, for the extra credit. Also for the higher grades. Whether you're taking a summer school class or whether you're just, say for instance, you just took algebra and you got a 75, well, you passed it. you absolutely passed it. But a 75 in algebra is going to not help you pass Algebra 2 at all, because math builds on itself. So to get that mastery in algebra higher, I highly recommend using Alex. I love the way it works. It teaches to the entire course, and it shows you what the student knows in each area, and it adapts to the student, to what the student knows and what the student doesn't. So they can pace through it pretty quickly. It's a really good program, and it teaches toward mastery, so that while they may have only gotten a 75 in algebra last year, they're going to go into Algebra 2 as someone who may have aced the class. And then that's going to help them get through Algebra 2, and they won't fall behind. And then while they're doing Algebra 2, I would keep them in this program. So another useful thing to do with your summer, if they've just done super mediocre in school, is to go ahead and get them practicing for the PSAT and the SAT. Go to College Board website and get them practicing for standardized tests. Just the act of practicing for the standardized tests, taking the test, looking at what they got wrong, and then reviewing those wrong questions is going to bring their understanding up. Plus, Khan Academy has problem sets that are in conjunction with this, so you can use the two together to watch a video of those questions you got wrong. But just go ahead and start getting ready for standardized tests, which are going to come in a couple of years, if not sooner, if your kid is in high school level and has had a really bad year, specifically in math and language arts. Finally, if your child has just all out failed several classes, what's going to happen is the school's going to want them to take summer classes if you can afford them, or to repeat those classes next year, which is going to pretty much ruin their high school career. Don't get lulled into, they only needed 6 credits to get into the 10th grade. They're going to need a lot more to get into the 12th grade. So what you need to do is something called credit recovery. You need to look for, and this is just an example, Keystone is just an example of credit recovery out there. Look for accreditation. Don't speak to your school. Speak to your school superintendent's office about which programs that they accept credits from, and sign your child up for an online class this summer, or 2 or 3, to get them to relearn or review whatever they did poorly in this year. And then this online credit recovery school will send those credits to your high school, and that will mean that your child won't be behind when they get to 12th grade. Because here's the thing that the public schools do. They won't let you take 2 maths at the same time, and they only let you take 1 math a year. So if you fail a math, you kind of only technically need 3. Some high schools require 4. So if you fail 1 math, you might be okay. If you fail 2 maths, they make you stay another year, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because algebra is algebra, right? And algebra 2 is algebra 2. But algebra 2 and geometry aren't that related, and you should be able to take them at the same time, but the schools won't let you. Also, you can take any math, and also take personal finance math or statistics. They're not so reliant on each other, and your kids should be able to take them at the same time, but the schools won't allow it. So if your child is 1 or 2 classes behind in math, get them into an accredited course and do that over the summer and get them caught up, so that they won't be forced into a 5th year of high school. And these kids, chances are they'll drop out or make everyone's life miserable if they have to do a 5th year of college. They'll drop out, or they'll make your lives miserable if they have to do a 5th year of high school. Is it cheap? Not 116 for each course. That's not bad. The public summer schools cost that too, and they teach better than the public schools do. The public schools is a quick review and another test. This is actually reteaching the material. So look online for an accredited class to retake anything your child failed, and speak to the county superintendent's office or your state superintendent's office to find out where they accept credits from. Keystone is just an example. I hope this was helpful, and I hope I've given you some useful information to turn around an abysmal school year and to make sure your child's on the right track for learning next year. Until next time.